Welcome to Rock. Tahuti's signature. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. Rabbi, if you're new to the channel, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Like I say, come back and check with us. We got something coming out every day for you. This is Tahuti School of Alchemy, Class 7. And this should be the last installment on the intro part. It will go into the advanced. This is all the 7 tapes is the beginners alchemy, but we're just breaking down the basics. So if you're an advanced student, you might want to go back and check some of them tapes out too to make sure you're up to speed, right? Make sure you're up to speed. But while we're giving people time to get in here, we're gonna run that intro, man.
Young L on the beat.
Oh yeah, you tune in live with the young elder. We are from the city of the gods. We getting ready to drop this heat. Let's bite right down into it. Let's get off right into it. Bite right down into it. All right. We left off on this part. Okay, let me get that back. Oh, look. We left off on the technique. The technique, right? Don't sweat the technique. If you haven't checked out the other 6 parts, go back and check out the other 6 parts. Man. Man, to get all his basics out. Hootie wants y'all to get this information, man. All right, we left off on not sweating that technique. I have this information now. And in this art form, people that got skills to pay the bills develop techniques. A tech skill is a series of link movements performed There go that word again, form. See, every time you see perform or the word form, you know you're talking to alchemy. Keep that in mind. We got to make that clear. For a purpose. Skill describes the purpose of linked sequence of movements. As we told you, this is a timing, this is a rhythm, this is a sequence, geometrical sequence that's happening here. Once you figure out all this stuff, you'll start to begin to figure out about the shade shifting and all that, about how things begin to take form, how the mental realm projects these things taking form. People are ugly. A lot of people are ugly because the way they think. You know what I'm telling you? A lot of people are the way they are because of the way they think. You're gonna figure it out, right? It's a skill. It's a skill to look beautiful. If you think beautiful and you think you beautiful, then you are. Techniques. A technique is a way of executing a skill. See? So a technique, if you got skills, and that word that look really funny with the S kill on it, right? That looks funny, but skills, right? Based on their definition and term, if you got skills to pay the bills, then that means you got a technique. Everybody that develops a technique becomes a master in whatever thing they alchemy they trying to perform. They got a technique. Denzel got a technique when he doing his acting. The way he grabbed the attention of the crowd and he really he making them believe it that it's really real what's happening. And then the next question become is it what's real but electromagnetic signals interpreted by the brain? So you got to develop a technique. The technique is the basic physical action or movement skills is the successful application of technique in competitive situations, right? So when competition comes into play, in competition, who has the skills and technique usually become the man. LeBron got skills and technique. Michael Jordan has skills and technique. Tiger Woods has skills and technique, right? Even the high power alchemists, they got the ones that's good, got skills and technique, got a certain type of way that they perform, right? Where you know, okay, yeah. So Tahuti also taught us in the school of alchemy. We're gonna talk about this. We're gonna go in more in depth on the advanced classes, but we're just giving you the basics. You have the word jam, which really stands for Tahuti says stands for just a minute. And you can spin that word jam different ways because you got jam as in, that must be jelly because jam don't shake like that. Then you got jam as in, that's my jam. And then you got in, jam as in a certain type of situation. Keep in mind about the situation. So you got a jam. Are you in a jam? A tight situation. Keep in mind, like we said, jam stands for just a minute. And keep in mind they say they jammed your signal. Right? You about the jelly jam. So you got a radio jammer, right? Keep in mind the brain is can receive and send off signals. So if it can receive and send off signals, that means that the brain frequency can be jammed. So what if they're jamming the brain frequency? Not what if, but we got to say that for YouTube purposes. What if the brain frequency is being jammed? The intelligence, the rising of the intelligence is supposed to be sent here by Nubaru as part of the rising of the people through a signal. But what if that signal is being jammed through all of the stuff they're doing in the atmosphere? A radio jammer is any device that deliberately blocks, jams, interferes, and see that part. Interferes, I guess it says interferes with communication. In America, and many other places, jammers are illegal, and the consequences of a large fire. I had to figure that part because I don't know why it's cut out right there. Like it's saying illegal and um comes with a large fine right there. Just in some cases, jammers work by transmitting of a regular radio signal that decreasing the signal to noise ratios. Right, so they can't even hear what you're saying. That's what they was doing to be doing the rod. They be jamming his signal to where you was like where it sound like it's like, damn, what the work what he just said? He said, I said like, dang man, they jamming his signal. Right? The concept can be used in wireless data network is disrupted information censored in totalitarian countries in order to prevent foreign radio. I can't see what the rest of it say. But you get the picture. The picture is that signals can be jammed. So if you a frequency, if you a signal, if that's what you are, you can be jammed. That's what obstacles. That's what the obstacles come in at. Obstacles can get you in the jam. All right. So they're saying signals coming from these different stars. Some of these signals are getting jammed. The signals are the information being upgraded on the planet. All right. Here goes the jammer, the receiver, transmitter. So the transmitter is transmitting the information, like we just showed you coming to the planet. These people are eavesdropping, listening in to the information. And this is a receiver, the person that's supposed to receive it, but they jamming they signal. And it's also a military equipment, jammers, scanner, receiver, jammer, right? It's cutting the connection off. Also, Tahuti talks about the jam. Okay, we get into this. Yeah, we're gonna get into this. We're gonna get into this, but I want to talk about a little bit more about jam. Uh, before we go forward, talk a little bit more about this jam, right? All right. So sometimes you might get into a jam, and a jam stands for just a minute, and you might have to sit you waiting, right? You might have a situation, and you might have to sit calm while you try to think your way through this jam. So sometimes you might get in a jam, but Tahuti show you how to move in a room full of vultures. Tahuti shows you how to get out of a jam. He's the master at getting out of jams, or he's the master in creating jams. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, man, this shit go both ways. Everything has a good side and a bad side to it. When you get in the jam and bad things happen, you think it's some bad stuff happening. When you think of the bad things, also think of the good things that's happening from this jam or whatever situation it is. It's always a good side and bad side to everything. It has to be in order to legitimize it. That's what's the one of the laws of the universe called polarity, uh, correspondence. It's all tied in together. It's oneness. So if something bad, you losing your job, but on the other end, this something about you already getting ahead of the game because that job about to shut down in 2-3 months. It just ain't told the people on the job, and you already getting a head start at going to another spot. We protected. The righteous is protected by the universe in everything that we do. Everything that we do, even though we might walk, because we gotta talk with the what they call the Holy Ghost, right? There's these Christians, so everybody can hear us. Even when you walk through the shadow of the death, fear no evil. Some people say, I thought you said religion's got to go, man. Well, Tahuti's saying tie it all in together. We got to put it all together, man. Make it all make sense. That's what we trying to do. Make it sound right and reasoning. You can reason with this. It makes sense. It's logical sense. We got to make logical sense of all of this. So when you get into a jam situation, sit there. You can think it's a way out of everything. It's a way out to get out of everything, right? It's got to be. If it ain't, then it's not legitimized. It's got to be a loophole in everything, a way to get out, a way to reduce the effects, the cause and effects. All right, so keep in mind it's a cause and effect for every decision that you make. And when you make those decisions, you what you need to do is before you act on them, because what before we act on things, that's what they start. That's what they messed us at with this jam. They jamming our signal. A lot of our young brothers are acting without thinking. You know what I'm saying? So they do a lot of stuff about not without thinking, and then later they think about it, and then it's too late. Then it's too late to because you didn't think about how to get situating. You just went on, jumped the gun. Because keep in mind the three principles of spiritual attack. The three principles of spiritual attack is mention of what a example is laid out in Matthew chapter 4, verse 4, where it talks about um, Jesus being tempted by the devil. All right, Yeshua being tempted by the devil. Right. Okay, so it goes into the three types of tactics that they use to come after you is the lust of the eye, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. And most of the pride of life is a heavy one. Right? They get on these brothers' pride. Oh, he disrespected me. Oh, he trying to make me look like a punk. Or he trying to punk me out. And so the pride usually get to these guys and they don't think, and pride comes before the fall. You see? And if you don't think, you go out there and then you do something and then you think about it later and it's too late. You stuck in jail or you dead. Or somebody you hurt somebody and you can't take it back. So keep in mind, killing is an art form. And when you kill somebody, you can't take that back. That's because you use fire alchemy. 'Cause you got different forms of alchemy, right? We're gonna break all that down too. You got fire spells, water spells, air spells, and earth spells. If you do an earth spell, you can go and if you bury something underground, like a time capsule or something that you're doing some alchemy with underground, you can go back and dig that alchemy back up. But if you do some fire spell where you write something down and burn the paper, you can't take that back. Usually, a water spills are hard to get back, but if you do it on a lake and pond and all that, 'cause it's gonna be hard to find that piece that you let go in the water. Air spills can do the same thing. So some spill, well, I know you can some potentially find the water spill or the air spill or the earth spill. I know you can dig that back up if you know the location, but the fire spill is hard to take back. So be careful on that part. But we didn't want to get sidetracked because we got to stay on topic, man. Tahuti wants to keep it good. This right here, really the last installment on this particular the beginner's tape, right? All right, yeah, I know where I'm supposed to go. Okay, there you go. Jam, we already broke that down. So we're dealing with the jam. Keep in mind, even your voice is the real you. The voice that you're hearing right now, my voice is the real me. The real you is on the inside of this avatar or this driving this car on this ride called life, looking out of this window called eyes, right? And you taking in sound, and that sound can form who you are. Ugly sound can turn you ugly. I'm telling you, man. Shit is deep. But when your voice is you, right? And it's mediums, transmitters, amplifiers. Like my voice is being amplified right now through this particular program and things that I got set up. Right, the antenna is the broadcasting. We're broadcasting right now live from the belly of the beast. Right, and some of you might be listening to us on the radio. Some of you might be listening to us, but most likely now the radios are going out, and because we're going into the future, man, everything is being sped up. So who he been wanting us to go here? Some people fear is holding us back from going into this new the robots and all that. We're all robots. 'Cause you gotta look at the good side of the robots. And mostly a lot of us don't notice, but robots are already being incorporated into our life form already. They got the robot to go around and clean the floor. They got Alexa, but fear is holding us back on this thing. Like I said, the brain receives signals. And the brain sends signals. Therefore, the brain signal can be jammed. This is what they don't want you to know, man. That we being jammed. We being threshold. We being compressed. Compressed. Because we are sound. If you compress sound and put a threshold on it, people that know about music, man. If we are sound and we being compressed, that's the reason why we being compressed, and that's how we become physical form. Once we're compressed and the threshold is set on us, that's how we take form. So keep in mind, in the brain, you got magnetic receptors. Supposed to have 24 magnetic receptors, and they all supposed to be charged, but a lot of them been cut off, and this is why we're not using most of the parts of our brain. You got the reptilian brain, the bird brain. A lot of people, these thumbnails that I got, they high power alchemy. I'm displaying high power alchemy on these thumbnails. People ain't noticing the how I'm displaying the thumbnails, especially with the first couple ones about how Tahuti on stage. Everything is a stage. Keep that in mind. The stage is set, right? Keep in mind the brain is a computer. We already told you that the brain works off electricity. The brain works off water is one of the main elements in air. Air, water is some of the main elements to stimulate the brain into this super uh, energy, right? So the brain is a computer, and the electricity is what the brain is working off of. And one of the best conductors of electricity is water. But these bugs have introduced all this sodium and all these sugary drinks so that they can reduce the electricity capacity of the brain. And they've now we breathe oxygen, which we're gonna go into breathing a little bit more nitrogen mix into our oxygen here soon. As we go into the fifth dimension, we're gonna have a mixture of gases. Because on a lot of planets, beings breathe a mixture of gases, or they breathe a higher like hydrogen. And then when you get into light beings, they don't even breathe no more, right? So you're dealing with that type of alchemy too, that level of alchemy. The brain is sends signals and receives signals. We already broke that down for you. You see what's going down here. All right, the universe is mental. Tahuti, this is one of Tahuti rules. He's telling you the universe is mental. So everything is perceived inside of the mind. Everything that we seeing, we are putting it together in form in our mind. So alchemy starts in the mind. And if that's the case, what are we? We are mind. Here, all mind. And your mind is a mind. You hear it? See how they do these words? You got mind as in gold mine, because we are the gold mines. And then you got mind as in all mine. That's mine. Like Hakeem tells Haru, mine. They pulling on a toy, going back and forth. It's mine. No, it's mine. No, it's mine. No, I had it first. No, it's mine. Y'all hear these guys, man. To hear them talk now, it's pretty interesting. No, it's mine. No, I had it first. No, tell them it's mine. It's just funny, man. So you got that type of mind. Then you got mind as in your brain mind, or the subconscious, or the mental realm, right? Keep in mind, you got to practice if you want to make perfect. Tahuti say you got to practice. Tahuti started the practice. Now Tahuti started the practice, and they still practicing. That's why they call they law forms a practice. That's why they call they medical facilities a practice, or I'm practicing. Everybody's still practicing. right? But if you practice for so long, don't you supposed to eventually get good at it and figure out cures and other things? We ain't gonna get too hard in depth in that. We're gonna go back. But keep in mind, this symbol right here really is Ash Star Command symbol, right? Which they stole from the science of Tahuti. It's really because these Ash Star Command is the one that's trying to go east in the gap in the heavens to the east part of the heavens looking for light because they star burnt out. Hence the name Ash Star Command. You see, and the G they stands for the grand geometry, God, good, it's a circle in a square. The compass in the square, 90 degrees, right? Because they trying to get to 90. We already at 360, man. We at 720 right now. They still trying to get to 90 because they start, but we cut them off. We cut them off. These Ash Star Command guys, we cut them off at 33 degrees, which is right below, right almost about to thaw out. A lot of this stuff might go over your head. But they tell us that geographics means the specific locations or the measurement of location. So Hootie told me it means geo means the measurement of space, not necessarily space, but space is always filled. So but it means the necessarily measurements of space because Earth, geo they say it means the Earth, right? But Earth is the planet is not. Most of the planet is water. So how could you be calling your planet Earth? Your planet is not called Earth. That's the game to dumb us down right there already. So how could it be the measurement of Earth? The Greeks, this is what the Greeks told us. People who thought the world was flat. And they still it's I guess these Greeks rising out the grave still promoting this flat earth theory, right? But the Greeks, the same guys who told us the world was flat, who said that if you drive, who never sailed anywhere, well, we Moors, we were sailing thousands of years before the Greeks. Like, get y'all listen, because we got a sound right and reasoning here and logic, so logical sense. We as Nubians, Moors, the sons and daughters of God, the Elohim, the Ashtar, I mean the Anunnakis, Enki and Enlil, and Anu, we was selling all around the planet, right? So we knew that you couldn't go off the side. We already sailed it all around the planet. It's these Greeks with this Greek mythology, which they stole all they shit from Tahuti, which they call them Hermes. They said that Geo means the Earth. That's what they said. But Earth is your planet is 70% water and only like 30 or 40, 60 to 70% water and 40% Earth. So it can't. Why it was called Tiamat, a key at first. It's where they get the geo from, right? Key geo. That's where they really get it from. But and then too, how could it be the measurement of Earth when a whole bunch of other planets, some other planets is all water, like Neptune. Neptune only got like a 20 to less percent in land. It's mostly water, right? So a lot of they stuff they starting to figure out a lot of they science. They starting to figure out that they don't know nothing. Every time you do think it, the wise man know. Every time he think he knows something or discovers something, he go to another level in this information. He go to a whole nother level. Every time that I think I know something, I got it. It's I figured out another as I go to that next level. I figure out, man, I really didn't have it, man. It's a whole bunch of more. We're gonna always be like that in this dimension, man, because it's billions and billions and billions and billions and millions and trillions of levels of information in this game, man. Geo. All right, so they say it mean Earth, but like I say, if it Tuuli told me it means the measurement of space because Earth is not the name of our planet. Earth, our planet is mostly water. To write means the geo literally means write about Earth, right? It says that it means to write about Earth. That's what they say it mean. But Tahuti said don't mean that. Tahuti said that it means the measurement of space. Geometrics. It's the measurements of space. All right, now these are the geometrical shapes, right? When we get into dynamics, the cone, the pyramid, speak on all these different square, the circle and the square. Better than I sit up. But these three, the triangle, the square, and the circle are the main three alchemical basic symbols. And if you study the degrees of these two angles, you'll see that they identical because this is the 490-degree angles, which comes up to 360 degrees. And then this circle is 360 degrees too. So circle equals square. And then you got triangle. I think these are 60 degrees each, which will come up to 180. So it's half of these circle and the square. The triangle is half of the circle and the square. So you get into angles, study angle, because that's part of the alchemical sequence, right? That we're gonna get going into. These are all the basics. We're not trying to hold you long. We got about 10 minutes. We're about 10 mics out. So who do you say we about 10 mics out? Right, we're about 10 mics out, man. We'll try to go ahead and finish this. Okay, we get into hydro. These are different terms that we use. Hydro, bio, geo, like atmosphere, and is for the air. So you got ground. They say geo is ground, dirt, and then hydro. So hydrometrics, I guess that'd be the measurement of water. Biometrics would be the measurement of life, and utmost, ECMOS measurements, utmost measurements, metrics, osmos metrics, matrix, osmos metrics. Trying to make up a word right there, right? Under that word's out yet. But that'll be the measurements of these different types of elements. Water cycle. Yeah, shout out to people at YouTube for the checks, man. Y'all doing a good job. We keeping it clean. We ain't gonna so if it don't get approved, we just ain't gonna put it out from now on. We just gonna keep it clean, man. You know what I'm saying? Well, but most of the tapes now that we putting out, we doing extra good to try to follow the guidelines, right? All right, so studying the cycle of water, evaporation, all that, right? Study that. Condensation, that's part of alchemy because because the transfer of elements from molecules into one state to the next is a part of the form of alchemy. So study the cycle of water, how the evaporation take place, the cloud condensation. This is all staged. Listen to what I just said. All this is staged. If it's staged, that like I said, it's on. It's got. You can see it. How you know that it's staged? Because you can see it. If it wasn't staged, you couldn't see it. Man, a lot of this stuff might go over your head. So who do you trying to get me to break it down the best way we can? So biosphere, study the atmosphere, study your atmosphere. Your atmosphere is made up about 71%, I think, nitrogen. So your nitrogen actually speeds things up. So study that. Nitrogen speeds things up. If you go to the race car show, let's keep in mind the brain is an engine as well. If you go to the race car show, they use nitrogen to speed the car so it can get a high oxygen intake. So our oxygen intake is being lowered. That's another thing why our brain is being slowed down. The oxygen content was supposed to raise, and the oxygen and nitrogen is supposed to fuse together and create a whole nother type of gas, a molecule that we were supposed to be start to breathing. And this is supposed to speed our intelligence up. But it's beings, like I say, here working in that want to eat us. They want to use us as hosts, and they in on this, like the bugs and the reptilians. They in on this to hold us back. Keep in mind, all symbols are forms. So all symbols are alchemy. Real alchemists know that. And that's why they do all these signs and these billboards and everything using a lot of these symbols in the background where you don't notice it. High powered alchemists. Keep in mind about the negative and the plus sign, the divide. But we really only use these two, the plus and the multiply. Because like we told you, we baby's kids. And like Tahuti said, we don't die, we multiply. We multiply. So keep in mind all these symbols are forms of alchemy. This is installment 7, man. We're about 6 mics out. Trying to get everything over to you while we got time here for the first 7 tapes installment. All right, we're gonna get you a look at all these symbols, the threes, numbers, any kind of symbol that's drawn is a form of art. It's a form because you can see it. It has a stage. That means it's alchemy. So, like I say, my definition of alchemy is quite broad. Um, Numbers, the way you spin them, you can spin numbers, you can twist them. Keep in mind, spinning and twisting is all a part of alchemy. You can do verticals, doubles, mirror flip them. Mirror 5 5 is still 5 5. Mirror 23 is 32. Mirror 12 is 21. And then 1 and 2 is a combination of numbers because the highest number is 9. Right? So you got combination numbers. So you keep in mind the numbers, the shapes. Every shape is a form of alchemy. Every number, every letter, every drawing, every layout is a form of alchemy. This means infinity. A lot of these things have meanings to it. This is how they begin to form words and letters through alchemy. Language is alchemy. That's why they say you gotta spell it, as in casting a spell. Keep that in mind. All this stuff, don't let this go over your head, man. So Hody wants you to speed up and get upgraded. Like I say, this is the basics. We're gonna get into the high power ish on the next advanced classes. 8 through what did it be? 8 through 15 or 14? 8 through 14, we get into some of the more advanced mid-level, middle school type stuff. And then on uh 7 through 21, we'll get into some heavy duty because that'll be the series that we'll be putting out on this series. Because we gotta fatten that the alchemy tape up on the playlist. So if you want to check out the alchemy classes, go to my playlist, scroll down to the alchemy one-on-one classes, and watch all the alchemical classes if you're interested in it. We got the Raw Hayes tapes, right? You can scroll down to the playlist on that. We got the Galactic Family of Life tapes. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the playlist, that Galactic Family of Life got almost 300 tapes in there. You want to get all the Galactical stuff. Then right above that, we got the Native American and the Moors tapes up in there. You want to check those tapes out. So we got the playlist is already set up if you want to pick your scholarship. Because we setting this up like that's a bit we setting this catalog up like a college. When you come in here, you want to learn whatever you want to learn, all the sciences, we're gonna already have all of it laid out for you like a college, man. So when you come to the Young L page, we got it all. We covering it all. All right. So you see different symbols. Like I say, in the galactics, one of these symbols could mean thousands of things. It could be a whole book in the galactics. Right, here we go. We showing this. Right, these are the different symbols. They put these different symbols on rings. They use these symbols in secret societies, the ones that know about the alchemy. Right? Here's some more symbols in algebra, mathematics. You got symbols. What they using all these symbols. This is a form. Mathematics is an art form. All right. So all these symbols have meanings. This right here, like the biting of the apple of Adam and Eve. Um, you got these different symbols, like the 3 stripes. I know this right here dealing with Saturn. And I forgot what this right here. This the 3 strikes. I forgot what that mean. I know it's dealing with something. All this is astronomical though. It's dealing with uh different science behind this, storylines behind these different symbols. They're stealing from ISIS right here. All right, see all these symbols. Right here, they're using the different colors, and they got the peacock, right? The peacock, proud like a peacock. They're using the different colors, right? So this alchemy. This is a form. And that what NBC is saying is they proud like a peacock and to promote what they promote. You know what I'm saying? Check that out. Look at that alchemy. NBC. BC is before Christ. NBC. Right? So this is alchemy going on here. This type of stuff proud like a peacock. You already know. Right? We about to get up out of here, man. We got a 13. We're dealing with numbers. Right? You can mirror numbers, flip numbers, carry numbers. But they teach you all this in mathematics. But a lot of people don't think that how powerful this stuff is when you talk about carrying numbers, flipping numbers, mirroring numbers, all that's alchemy. Angel numbers right here, the 444 protection, 666 reflect, balance, 888, 777. Look, you ever know when you go to the casino, they when they hit 777, you hit the jackpot. Right? 333 support, change, 555, institution, 111, 222 alignment. Got 999 release and a new beginning, I think, for 000. So all of these numbers have meaning when you start to put them together and flip them and carry them and doing all this. This is a form of alchemy because numbers are a form. If they wasn't, uh, you wouldn't be able to see them. But once we go back to there's no number but one, you'll begin to see there's only number one. The only number is one, really. Like Lucy tried to tell him in that movie. All right, so you got geometrical sequence. This is how you calculate timing. This is how you do the lottery and all that stuff. You figure out what's going on using geometric sequence. So they got this is okay, let's go. We got 2, 4, 6, and geometric sequence is used in computers for binary code. So the computer is based off of geometrical sequence. So they add 7 here, set -6, go to 7, 8. So keep on adding 7. So this type of art form increases your IQ. This is to increase your IQ because a lot of this art geometrical sequence is one of the main things they test you on when they study your IQ. Right? We running over time here. All right, Tahuti, we're gonna get ready. We're running over time here. All right, you got mirror number, mirror tricking. You know about that, right? All right, geometrical sequence, time and with numbers. Uh, says the angel number. Got it broke them down. You also got prefix in words. You got prefixes, suffixes, root words, all that. So you got to study that and study the real meanings, like not. So these different terms, sub, under, as in subconscious mean under, right? Hyper, all these different ish. Study these different terms because once you master the spell, once you master the spell, you'll be able to see how the spell is being cast. All right, these are mathematical symbols right here. Study the mathematical symbols because these symbols play a part in the high power alchemy. Minus, plus, divide, multiply. You got homonyms, words that sound the same. All right, we wrapping it up, Tahuti. Words that sound the same, like male and male, pair and pair, whole and whole. These are this is a type of alchemy that they're running against us. So we got to study that. Keep in mind the word D denotes a negative. D is like a negative. So certain words, these words, these prefixes line up with mathematical symbols. Like this D really denotes a negative. divide, it denotes like it has a negative and everything has a positive and negative side, but D really denotes a negative, as in depart or to divide divide us up. Somebody knock. It really means to divide. Sound like somebody was knocking in the background, bro. Might have been Tahuti saying, wrap it up. Might have been Tahuti, man. So, hey, Tahuti, we wrapping it up. So, you got these different words like this. You get homonyms. Tahuti, we wrapping it up. And we're going to get into mill. We got tapes already on mill work, me and Raw Hayes, and I got one by myself. We'll check those tapes out in the alchemical tape. But Tahuti is the master of mill work. Shadow work. I think we can close it out right there, Tahuti. So Hootie is the master of shadow work. We actually gonna put a whole tape out talking about shadow work. So we'll get that broke down to you. And that closes it out to Hootie. It says you may never know what results come of your actions, but if you do nothing, there will be no result. So we're closing that right there to Hootie. For the 7th installment. So as always, peace and love and harmony. Islam. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom Aleichem. Hotep. Ashug, divine love throughout the boundless universe to all. Wadu.